Why spend money when you can fix everything with duct tape and pool noodles? Mm-hmm. This is the shit that I am talking about. Take a look at these. Top Walker Podcast with the Common Folk by the Common Folk today. Got a nice little good one going for you today, if I don't do say so myself. I was looking at some awesome redneck conventions, whatnot, you know. Alright, let me sip my burning hot black coffee real quick. Out of a Star Wars mug, because that's how American I am feeling today. I do have a Bald Eagle mug around here somewhere, but Star Wars mug was clean, so it takes the cherry for today, boys. Alrighty. Okay, so we got a gun safe hidden inside a refrigerator. Genius. Just genius. Because, they break in, the government's not going to think to look in your refrigerator if they're trying to take your weapons, you know what I mean? It's really impolite to just open somebody's refrigerator in their own house. So, that just, gets the gentleman out of the way, you know what I mean? And just say, oh, I'm going for, a beer or something, and you just head there, and then all of a sudden, you pull out your Glock, and, see, it's just, that's where the important shit is. That's where the important shit is. Okay, so gun safes gotten in the fridge. That's reasonable. That's reasonable. You know what I mean? They're really protected. All that good stuff. All right, so I do enjoy that one. We're gonna go down to the next one. Okay, rubber chicken taped to the back bumper. This is a genius idea. You could take it to the back bumper or the forward bumper. Okay, and it lets you know if you're getting too close to something. Okay, you just got a row of just those rubber chickens that make them real squeaky noises. You know what I mean? And you're bound to hear that shit because everybody does. All right, and that shit, you hit something, boom, and then all of a sudden, hey, take a look at that shit, man. Is that not awesome? Like, that's just cheap. Mindful of spending. Chickens, what? Rubber chickens. A couple of bucks at the Walmarts. You know what I'm saying? I love it when it burns the skin cells off my tongue. It's delicious. So low budget reverse sensor. That's just economic right there. That's recession proof. Whatever, you know what I mean. That is just some nice bold ass statements. I'll tell you what. And we're gonna move on to the next one. All right. So it's a floatable mobile home, and I would describe this as the mobile home. The mobile home 2.0. Mobile in more ways than one. Okay. Look at me. I could become the next Steve fucking Jobs. Alright. So it's the mobile home. And pretty much what it was, there's a bunch of floaties just with all the hurricane stuff coming in. Make sure you got my last one about raining acid frogs. So it's got flotation devices on it. I'm not exactly sure how to describe the devices themselves. They're typically what you would see in a normal emergency raft, just one of those blow up, that real, waterproof material, and it just goes around the house. So the house just floats. Now I would imagine you would need some kind of anchor and, make sure everything's anchored, but that's it. You live in a trailer park. That is some useful ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just genius. I'm going to give that one a mark. My mark of approval, the common folk approved. So then we got this one, pogo stick plunger. Now this is for after the Chipotle Taco Bell incident of 2012. All right, this is what you pull in. All right, it is genius. It is good. It works. All right, it's a plunger attached to the bottom of a pogo stick. You pop that shit in there, one or two good, that's hundreds of pounds of pressure force right there. Just boom, unclogging that. That's for when, you have the emergencies, and that's just for emergencies only. You know what I mean? Just make sure you know how to use a pogo stick first. You do not want to do the first time while you're unclogging a toilet. That's just a recipe for bad to happen. I mean, be honest. I've never been on a pogo stick before. I'd like one, but I've never been on one. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's a genius idea, but I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know the force. I mean, I hope that it doesn't make too much of a mess, because you're gonna have to get out of there pretty quick, assuming pogo stick plunger abides by regular plunger rules. Okay, so genius. I'll give that one my seal of approval. So attach a Ford F-150 to an 18-wheeler. Okay, so attach a Ford F-150 bed to an 18-wheeler cab for extra space. Okay, I remember how this one was. So it basically was a Ford F-150, and they cut it in half where the bed and the cab meet, and they put the end of the cab and they sawed off the front of the 18-wheeler so the engine wasn't there, and they fit the end of the F-150 cab into the 18-wheeler cab. So it was like an extended cab, an extended cab with lots of space. And then they put the truck bed on the other side of the 18-wheeler. Now, I thought that was pretty genius. That's just extra space in the bed. That's extra space in the cab for when you have that large family. That's pretty much for all you dads that need a minivan realistically, but don't want to actually have to go through with buying a minivan. This one just knocks off several birds with the one stone there. So that's more of like a giant rock. So I'll tell you what, this one's definitely approved. I think that one. Now, this is a true story. All of these are true stories, but this one I saw on the news also. Load straps over a house for when hurricane season. I mean, can't not help. I wouldn't. I mean, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, that works. The more the merrier. Your house ain't going nowhere other than it being cemented into the ground, and now it's got load straps into the ground. Yeah, I think that's genius, but it's going to take a minute for me to really see usefulness there. I mean, I know, most of these are for trailer parks because, those are the houses I got to worry about flying around. But I mean, I would imagine that load straps on a regular house might help with the foundation in a sense, make it a bigger piece. At least that's what I would assume. Okay, so here we go. Pool noodles for windshield wipers. Hell to the hess. That is awesome. Okay, you got shitty windshield wipers, slap on some pool noodles. There's several cents down at the Walmarts. That stuff that is genius. Okay, you can use pool noodles for just about anything. Beating the shit out of people, teaching your dog how to swim, teaching your kid how to swim, teaching just about anybody how to swim. Leisurely chilling, leisurely sitting on there. That's, riding it like it's a seahorse when you're, playing in the pool. The pool noodles are just universal. And then using them, that would work. It's extra soapy material. It absorbs the water, It might, when it's pressing against the windshield, act like a sponge, so water might be pushed onto the shield. It's the windshield itself. But other than that, I mean, that impromptu, that'll do in a pinch. That'd be really easy to slide on. You ain't got to mess with none of them hooks or something. Just slide them on over your other ones, and there you go. Maybe some zip ties I think you would just want to slide them on, because if you zip tie them, there'd be like a little hard part. But I'm going to give that one a check off, because that's just genius. I don't see a way around that one. I like that. Pool noodles. I might go do that right now with my truck. So this one is a little bit more improbable. It was an AC unit welded on to the back of a minivan. It had a generator underneath it that was feeding into it. But that's for slow riding, because that's just going to add so much drag. But that's just for slow riding and chilling. I don't know. I don't think I really like that one. I think that's a lot of work, because they're pretty much fed with water, if it's a swamp cooler type one, unless there's some kind of newer fan unit. But even then, the generator, that's a lot of extra weight just for AC. You might as well just roll the windows down or get it fixed. It'll probably be cheaper in the long run. That's just what I'm thinking. That one, I'm just not going to leave it. That's y'all here, guys. If you want to put an AC on the back of your minivan, put an AC in the back of your minivan. That's... I would assume, though, that minivan gets cold as shit now. As I sip from my coffee. I would assume that makes it somehow, like, ultimately better. Yeah. Let me sip more coffee. I don't know. Extra cold minivan, but gas, a lot of drag. I don't think that one's as efficient as you would hope there. Move on to this next one's just small genius. It's a red Solo cup like you'd find at one of those cool parties that everybody puts on the movies. Okay, and you turn it upside down and you cut holes into the sides so you can put them as like toothbrush holders and razor blade holders. I think that's a decent idea. I already have a dragon egged one from Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones is awesome. So that's what I use, and I also have a Budweiser can one that's got holes cut into it. It's not an actual Budweiser can; it's just shaped to look like one. So that one was pretty cool too. So I mean, it's pretty much whatever pickles your fancy. But this one is like a cheap dozen a pitch, maybe for like new homeowners when you're first moving in. Because let's be honest, when you're moving in and stuff and you're getting everything moved in, what's the first thing you're thinking about? If it's the toothbrush holder for your toothbrush in the bathroom, you must have everything else taken care of soundly. Because my thing would probably be bed, because bed's shit to move. Then you move to the dressers, then you move to the desks, then the TV, most importantly. Yeah, that's how that works. But it's cheap, realistically useful, probably more realistic than most of these ideas. Not that I'm discrediting the other ideas, just say that this is probably more realistic because it's cheaper. And everybody needs a toothbrush holder. Everybody. Even people that don't brush their teeth need one so they can realize that they need to brush their teeth. So this is just one for everybody. This isn't just redneck. This is in town city. This is suburb. This is army barracks. Probably army barracks not too bad. Cheap. You know what I mean? Works. Hell yeah. Okay. Fence gate instead of a car door. Now I have seen these in real life, and it's when the car door falls off, and so instead of putting the car door back on and having it look like a car, you put a fence gate on there, and the fence gate just opens. Now I can't imagine that would provide the same protection, but that has to do something for gas mileage. You would think, right? Because a car door adds a certain amount of weight. Now, it's all proportional to how they build it, but you remove that and you just got your, unless you're only shitted if your control for your mirrors are in the car door. You would have to rewire the mirror controls somehow inside. That would suck ass. So, if your mirror controls are on the inside with everything else and the only thing on your one window, there's a couple problems, but impromptu, that might be economical and it'll do, probably until you get the door, because you probably want the door, all that pressure and stuff. Although I do have to say, if you drove into a lake, you'd probably be able to get out easier with the fence gate than you would with the regular car door. So that's got a plus in that column. But still, overall, the car door has conveniencies like an armrest, pretty much. So, I would say, I'll give that one the approve. What the hell? It'll do at a pinch, right? Oh, coffee. Yep, America runs on coffee. America runs on Dunkin'. Hell yeah, Dunkin' send me free stuff. Prosthetic leg fishing rod. I saw this picture. I was so taken away by the just genius of it. All right, thank you for our armed forces. You guys the real heroes here. But let's do something here for a moment. You take your prosthetic leg, or your spare one, or a broken one, because if you work, maybe you're a mechanical engineer and you work on building them. I don't know. I don't pretend to know your life. All I know is that we're all common folk, and we're all liking this podcast, right? So prosthetic leg with a fishing rod into it. So you put the fishing rod into the prosthetic leg, and you just pop that shit in the sand. You know when it's going, or that's useful for surf fishing and stuff. Because that would hook in pretty good. I mean, you'd have to keep a watch on it because you get anything big, that prosthetic leg won't hold it. But in hindsight 2020, that does for a leisurely day of swimming there, boys. Put that stuff anywhere, prosthetic foot's expected to stand or sit somewhere, you can wedge it. It's got a very definitive, unique shape. So I would say, yay. I would give that one my upvote. The prosthetic fishing rod, I think that's a nice one. I do have to say, though, my favorite one is the, I like the gun safe hidden inside the refrigerator, but I do have to say the rubber chicken. That's the shit. That is awesome. Alright, thank you all. Have a good day. And remember, if you don't want to hit anybody, tape some rubber chickens to your bender.